countdown, Kids Cove was born. And though the 22,000 square foot playground was built with the traditional wood, concrete, and nails, there was one extra commodity: love. That's because this was one project that the entire community, young and old, big and small, embraced from the beginning. And that's the purpose of this program, to show you how community working together can accomplish anything. Virginia Beach, this is your story. It all began with an idea over a year ago. The Junior Women's Club wanted to do something for the community that would bring out the best in the community. VBTV was right there from the beginning when these plans were unveiled.
This is what you might call a high-powered meeting, and these are consultants, experts in their fields. So what's the topic of this high-level discussion? Kids Cove, the ultimate playground. Kids Cove will be constructed in the spring at Mount Trashmore. It's designed as a gigantic, multi-level, interconnected playground that will be built solely on donations of material, money, and time. New York architect John Dean recently spent a design day at the beach, soliciting ideas from school children and pitching the plan to adult leaders. By the end of the day, Dean had a preliminary design, one that incorporated many of the students' suggestions. The plan calls for Kids Cove to have a nautical theme and cover over 21,000 square feet. The project is being coordinated by the Virginia Beach Junior Women's Club and will cost between $100,000 and $120,000, depending on how many materials are donated. In addition to money, donations of lumber, tires, nails, and tools are needed. It's a project that the community is involved with too, because 2,000 volunteers will be needed to build the playground from scratch over a 5-day period. NewsScan will of course have more on Kids Cove as the project proceeds. Reporting for NewsScan, I'm Alex Grassos.
Well, Virginia Beach is big, and that helps, and there's nothing like this anywhere near, and I think through the whole thing, people just got fired up about it over the months before, and everybody wanted to come out and be a part of it in whatever way they could, and it was just incredible.
One of the amazing aspects of this project was the Kids Cove Committee. A project of this size called for organization, enthusiasm, and a sense of humor. And when the coordinators were introduced to us in a NewsScan Extra segment, we learned that they possessed all of those qualities and more.
This is the story of a project that not only benefits the community, but the story of a project that will happen because of the community. You see, we're going to build a playground.
We're going to put playground.
When architect John Dean came to town looking for ideas for Kids Cove, there was no shortage of experts. These children became co-designers for Kids Cove, a massive playground to be constructed at Mount Trashmore over a 5-day period this spring. The brainchild of the Virginia Beach Junior Women's Club, Kids Cove is being labeled as a beacon of light for all children.
I'm with the Virginia Beach Junior Women's Club, and they take on lots of different projects, and I knew this was going to be a biggie, so I had to let them get through with all these other things. I brought it, I saw it, told them I was going to bring it to them later, and then we saw the one they were building in Newport News. So after they got finished and I saw they lived through it, then I brought it to my women's club, and I said I'd like for us to be the charter sponsor of this. In no way, shape, or form can we do it by ourselves. It's going to have to be the whole community, and I love the kind of thing that brings all kinds of people together, and so I said, well, I'll do it if y'all will back me, so that's what we...
As organizers of the project, the club is coordinating all efforts from needed volunteers to corporate sponsorship.
HQ has given us just nothing specific, but has pledged tons of support. They have our supply list and are working on it now. They want to be a very large corporate sponsor. Pizza Hut will probably be involved in a large part, and Coca-Cola, and I mean the list just goes on and on. People that want to donate food, restaurants, it's just amazing.
The club hosted a kickoff for the project in October. The architect is a member of the New York-based design firm Robert Leathers and Associates. It's a group already familiar with the area due to their design of Fort Fun in Newport News. Located in Huntington Park, Fort Fun covers 15,000 square feet. Its slides, mazes, swings, and other attractions have proven to be a huge success to the Peninsula community. Kids Cove will be based on the same philosophy as Fort Fun, but will contain a nautical theme.
The lighthouse will be the main focus. The center is the replica of the Cape Henry Lighthouse. And there'll be, the amphitheater is a large part of it too, where there'll be seating and places where groups can perform, or kids can just get up there and play. There are several boats. There's a rocking boat, and then there's a larger boat that's over, like, to the right of the lighthouse. Mazes go all through it. There's a tic-tac-toe board, a word board. It's just, you name it and it's going to be on there. There's a fire truck and a fire pole. And
what makes this construction project unique is the fact that Kids Cove relies on volunteer labor. Come spring, an army of volunteers will gather at Mount Trashmore for an old-fashioned barn raising. And after 5 days, they will have built the largest, most innovative playground in the area. 21,000 square feet of fun.
My feelings is that we're all living this really, really fast pace, and we're going in all these different directions. We've gotten away from a lot of the neighborhood stuff and the feeling of belonging, and I feel like people feel real splintered. I know I do. I mean, it feels like, you know, we all come from different areas, and Virginia Beach is and Norfolk really is kind of a good community anyway, where lots of people get to know each other and everybody's really friendly. So the neat thing about this is that it gives people an outlet to all come together and build something that everybody can enjoy.
Perhaps one of the best features of Kids Cove is the fact that the playground will be handicapped accessible. This is the result of many of the students' suggestions and was the reason some got involved in the project in the first place.
I was really interested because it's all going to be handicap accessible, and I've been involved with handicapped kids for a long time, and so I was really interested in getting involved at that point.
And though the project can be overwhelming at times, no one involved has lost sight of the ultimate goal.
We can go as a family and relax, have lunch, bring a picnic. It's safe. What amazing was they just kept thanking me. And I was like, for making you work? I mean, they kept thanking me, you know, for putting it together. They said, we need something like this. We want to feel like we're doing something positive and that we make a difference.
Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, Kids Cove involved everyone in the community. The fact that a giant play park was going to be designed and built was not lost on the youngsters in this community. And that's why they jumped at the opportunity to pitch in with pennies for play.
How much is a million pennies? Well, certainly a lot more than I can hold in my hands. And to think some Treasury officials would like to get rid of these things. But why bother when beach students can put these little guys to some good use? These students at Strawbridge Elementary are enjoying their lunchtime routine, waving at the camera, filling their stomachs, and filling this bucket with money, big money, mostly pennies. But hey, as we all know, pennies can add up. It's all part of a drive throughout beach schools that's turning a dream into reality. The dream? Building Kids Cove. Kids Cove is a 22,000 square feet play park to be built at Mount Trashmore over a 5-day period in May. And in keeping with the volunteer spirit, 30 beach schools are attempting to raise 1 million pennies.
Oh, it's very important for the kids because it'll give them something to do on the fun days that we have off of school, and we're excited about it, and the faculty is really excited about it because they're giving their kids a chance to build something for the community. And I know a lot of the teachers here have put in a lot of effort to build it up and to really publicize this whole activity, and they're making posters and they're making flyers to go home, and it's really a good cause.
Strawbridge wasted no time in getting started on the penny drive, and the idea was immediately embraced by staff and students alike.
Because the SCA is like a representative of the school, and helping out for the Kids Cove is a really good deed.
One of the reasons why Strawbridge believes it can raise its share of the money is because of a school-wide philosophy.
It's to help other children, and the kids at Strawbridge really care for other people.
It is. In fact, Kids Cove is one of the largest in the United States, or it will be one of the largest.
Kids Cove has even invaded the classroom at Strawbridge, and as a result, students know exactly where their money's going. And when the park is built, they'll have the satisfaction of knowing that they played a major role.
Well, I think it's helping them develop some sense of community and pride in their community, and when the playground's finished, it'll be something that, as they get older, and some that stay here, until they're adults, can bring their children and just see what they've done.
Reporting for Newscan, I'm Melissa Beebe.
How many pennies were collected? Alex Grassos will tell us after this.
Well, I think we achieved our ultimate goal, and that was to bring the city together and create this playground for the community, the children of the community, and it's so obvious that everybody is certainly using it the way we had anticipated.
Carrie Ansel is a 9th grade student at Lynn Haven Middle School in Virginia Beach. Carrie was named Student of the Month for February at Lynn Haven. Carrie has very little spare time because of her active participation in all aspects of student life at Lynn Haven Middle School. She also exhibits an outstanding attitude in all subject and social areas. Recently, Carrie took time to teach 7th grade home-based students American Sign Language. Carrie is very proficient in signing and holds a captive audience during her lessons. Her enthusiasm and eagerness to teach this to others makes it very easy for her students to comprehend this valuable method of communication. As a member of the National Junior Honor Society, Carrie displays the characteristics of a serious, determined, goal-oriented student. Reading is a favorite pastime for Carrie, and this really shows by her volunteer work in the Great Neck Public Library and her involvement in the summer reading program as well. Our hats are off to you, Carrie. Congratulations on your special recognition, and the best of luck to you in your future years.
Welcome back. So just how much money was collected in our schools? A Newscan story tells us that the weather failed to chill anyone's enthusiasm.
It may have been cold and blustery, but hundreds of people were warmed by the sound of money. Mount Trashmore was the site, and the event was the culmination of Pennies for Play, a fundraiser for Kids Cove. Kids Cove is a 22,000 square foot play park scheduled to be built in May. After a month of collecting pennies in the schools, students showed up at the park with cash in hand. Volunteers helped them bag the pennies, weigh them, and stack them up for delivery to the bank. During a 4-hour period, there was a steady stream of coins, and the community showed its support for the project.
What we've had out here today basically is an overzealous crowd, and we were hoping for 1 million pennies, and I think we've probably gone over. All the schools, a lot of the schools have already come, and it's about 5 after 1. They've got till 2 to get here, and they've just, I mean, we thought they would try and fill part of a bucket, and we've had people come with, they couldn't even get them in their car, 3 carloads at a time driving up. And
so that we could have a better community to have a playground for all the little kids.
Think this is going to be a neat thing?
Yes, very.
Grateful for the support from the community, Kids Cove coordinators are still looking for help in funding.
The response so far has been unbelievable. This Pennies for Play is one fundraiser. It ends today, and the kids have done their part. So now it's time for the rest of us, the people that have not come forward, to come forward. The next few weeks will make or break this project.
Kids Cove still needs $40,000 to purchase a special rubberized surface that will make the park totally accessible to wheelchairs. One of the highlights of the collection day was the debut of a scale model of Kids Cove.
I think it's really good, like good spacing and everything, so it should be neat.
As the day wore on, the bags increased, so much so that a second armored car had to be brought in.
I think the kids they just wanted a park more than they wanted ice cream.
The goal was 1 million pennies, or $10,000. So, how successful were the students? How about $16,000 worth of loose change? Enough to convert this grassy area into a playground for the entire community. Reporting for NewsScan, I'm Alex Grassos.
So the money and corporate donations were in place. Now it was time to round up the help because Build Week was just around the corner.
Kids Cove is coming. Won't you please help turn a dream into reality? Come build a play park for the entire community at Mount Trashmore from May 12th to May 16th.
They likened it to an old-fashioned barn raising. For 5 days in May, the plans would be turned into reality. To accomplish this, the organizers were relying on the giving nature of the community. And did the community ever turn out?
It was absolutely the most incredible thing I've ever been associated with. It was absolutely awesome to see thousands, and not just the 5,000 people that came out to help build, but the hundreds and hundreds of other people that were involved in other ways, with the hundreds of restaurants, people that gave us cellular phones and motels and cars for the architects and just everything you could imagine. Many more people involved than just the 5,000 that came out to help build. It was just incredible that the community would come together and pull it off, and they did.
I'm Elissa Beebe. It was promoted as a cooperative effort from an army of volunteers, so it was only appropriate that Kids Cove Build Week began with a parade of shovels. Once the fun and festivities ended, the real work began. You see, there were only 5 days to turn these plans into a reality. It didn't take long to transform an empty plot of land at Mount Trashmore into a swarm of activity. By noon on the first day, Kids Cove looked like a limbless forest. However, looks can be deceiving. As pilings were being driven, other preparations and construction were taking place on the dismantled tennis courts. It was here that workers were cutting, sanding, and fabricating the wooden pieces that would make the 22,000 square foot play park come to life. Over 3,000 volunteers pitched in during the process, spanning the community. Businesses, families, and of course the military all turned out for the worthwhile project.
I work at the United States Navy Brig. A bunch of the staff members have come down every day to help out. And basically the reason is all of us live in the area. We all have kids, and this park needs something for the kids. This will be something that, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, it's still going to be here, and we had part of it to help the community.
I can't believe the turnout and the reception that we got from this community. And these people just came out in droves. Literally 1,000 people a day just came out of nowhere and to do this. And that really makes me feel good about living here in Virginia Beach.
By the second day, Kids Cove was starting to take shape, and more volunteers waited to take a turn at building the community asset.
It's for a good cause, and that's why everybody's here. We've had over 700 people yesterday. We had about 400 to 500 today. You couldn't ask for a better group.
Of course, there was always time for lunch. And then back to work.
The mornings actually have been nearly impossible just to move around. There's been so many people. The afternoons and the evenings have been a little more sane, but there's still been a lot of people. The community support here is atypical of the community support that we see in other parts of the country. And but it's funny, there's so many different tasks to perform and so many jobs to do that people of all varieties of abilities can participate, and I think that's one of the nicer aspects of it.
By Friday, the rain had come and gone, and the tarp was pulled back to reveal a structure that actually resembled a playground. In the throng of workers was one volunteer, relishing a few moments away from the office.
That's the fun part of the job, is getting to be part of something like this. So I've been looking forward to this all week, so it's fantastic.
Hundreds worked cheerfully in a race against time. After all, it was late Friday, and Sunday, 6 p.m. was rapidly approaching.
Something to do on a Sunday?
Throughout the weekend, onlookers stared in disbelief at the numbers of people working on the gigantic wooden structure. And as the deadline approached, work picked up at a feverish pace.
It's going to be done on time. It's almost done now. We're cutting all the final boards. Straight cut.
As a result, many of the workers found themselves in awkward positions. But with a sense of determination and accomplishment, the community pushed on.
As far as my experience in Virginia Beach for the last 5 years, there's been a lot of things that show community spirit. This one has been one of the tops.
By late Sunday, the final touches were being applied as the crowd started to gather for the grand opening. And as the throng awaited the countdown and official opening, one of the thousands of time-giving volunteers summed up the 5-day building marathon.
It's real good because people care about each other, and it proves people do care. They're also thinking about the kids.
It wasn't just for the children, believe it or not. We had lots of people out here who don't have children, and I think it was just the old-fashioned barn raising idea that we gave it, or we didn't give it, but the architects gave it, and I think everybody loved that idea, and they came out and said, yeah, our community could use an old-fashioned barn raising. They came out and had a great time.
When it was over, the people of Virginia Beach set several marks. At 22,000 square feet, Kids Cove is the largest playground of its kind. And during the 5-day construction, 5,190 volunteers showed up with various skills and one common goal: turning a dream into a reality and accomplishing something good for their community. Built with hammers, nails, and love, that's the story of Kids Cove, and that's the everyday story of Virginia Beach.